Welcome back to the Night Report podcast. Richie Schneiderite joining me once again. Richie, this is take two of this pod because we had something prepared for you guys and then things changed and then the weekend came. So we didn't really have time to record again. So we have two commitments to discuss today. One out of Holy Trinity, wide receiver Dylan Braithwaite, and the other is a safety out of St. Anthony's, Ian Strong. So let's first start off with the receiver because he was the first one to commit. What are we getting in Dylan Braithwaite?
Dylan, I mean, like I said on our previous recorded pod, I saw him at camp on Wednesday. He looked pretty good. He's got pretty good separation, good route runner. The only knock on him is that he's probably like 5'8", 5'9", around that range. I know Lenny might yell at me for saying anything lower than like 5'9.5" that he posted on the boards, but yeah, I saw him. I got pretty close to him, and I like to think I'm 6 foot. Now it's hard to judge because I say I'm 6 foot. Am I really? Depends who I'm talking to, but yeah, I mean he's good. He's really quick. I don't know his exact 40 time, and again, Lenny's gonna yell at me for that one too. But I know it's like a 4.4 or something around that.
I think he ran reportedly he ran a 4.37 at the camp about a week ago.
Okay, so that's what it was. I know it's tough because they don't really just hand out these numbers, so it's kind of like on us to hand time it or whatever. But there's no laser, so that's the other thing. So you got to factor in that. And 4.37, if you want to factor in, it's probably hand timed. It's probably like 4.4 something, I would think, around there. But no, he's a pretty good receiver. He's quick, really speedster. He's going to be a slot guy, I would think, for Rutgers. Almost like an Aaron Cruikshank type build. Ironically, Aaron Cruikshank's receiver coach at E-Hall at the time is now over at Holy Trinity. So
cool.
He has a knack for finding these guys, it seems like. And he's pretty solid, I think.
Yeah, just adding more speed to the receiver room, something that any Rutgers fan could tell you that we haven't really had much of the last, 6-7 years. So definitely a much needed addition there. We could probably gain to add a couple more in this class too. Who are the other receivers that Rutgers is really going after this class?
Let me think off the top of my head. Obviously, they're still pursuing Yasid Haynes. It sounds like that one's probably out the window, though, a little bit.
Yeah, we also just lost out on Kenny Johnson, the guy from Western PA, who's now committed to Pitt.
So he's going to Pitt. Yasid Haynes just ran a 4.39 at Penn State camp at 6'1",
really?
6'2". So
Holy shit.
So he's probably going to get he got the Penn State offer. He's taking an official visit there next week. I could see that one getting wrapped up quick. But Jesse O'Fury is going to be on campus this weekend out of Connecticut or Massachusetts. Hold on, Massachusetts, St. John's Prep up in Massachusetts. He's been to campus a couple times already. He's a taller, lengthier receiver. 6'2", 195. He's got a pretty good build already. He's one I'd probably keep a close eye on this weekend. I'd be a little shocked if that doesn't get wrapped up. I'm close to putting in a future cast. I haven't done it yet. I'm still waiting to hear back from a couple people before we submit these things. I want to be as accurate as possible, so it's tough, but it does sound like they're pretty optimistic there. And then Rutgers is also hosting a kid out of the Collegiate School down in Virginia in Christian Williams. He's probably about like the Bo Melton build. I think he's he's listed 6'1", 170. Obviously, he could stand to pack on a couple more pounds and muscle and all that stuff, which high school recruit really can't.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, he's another one to keep an eye on, but he also has an official visit to Virginia Tech at the end of the month. So that's going to be something to watch in the hometown school and the Hokies. And maybe Rutgers can lock it down and just settle it right here and there. But other than that, it's been kind of quiet for receiver. Fama Toure is going to be on campus in a couple weeks on the 21st. Another one who we don't have a future cast for yet, but I'd be shocked if that one didn't end in Rutgers' favor just because of the connections between the family. But other than that, I mean, I don't see them taking a ton of receivers. I think if you have Braithwaite, you have Toure, who's probably going to come on board, and Fury. You push for a fourth if it's the right guy and like a Christian Williams, but you don't necessarily need a fourth. You want to save some of these ships for the transfer portal too. I mean, look, you just brought in two pretty solid receivers in Sean Ryan and Taj Harris. Maybe there's similar comparability guys in the transfer portal this offseason.
Yeah, no, that's true. I kind of didn't even think of that when I mentioned the receivers.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other commit. Safety at Long Island, St. Anthony's High School. Ian Strong, he's huge. He's listed at 6'4". You think he might be a little taller than that based on what you saw at camp?
Yeah, so I saw him in camp. I actually didn't know who he was at first, and I just started watching the drills. And So you always notice these kids, and you walk up, and you're just like, well, who's the coaching staff looking at? Why is there like 4 coaches over here? Obviously, like they're looking at someone.
Yep.
And it had to happen to be Ian Strong, and it looked pretty good in camp. He is big though. Like I know Shiano loves these tall, lengthy safeties. He's listed 6'4", 180. I'd probably argue he might be taller than that, but it's tough to say exactly. But based on that build alone, it just doesn't look like a DB to me. Like he's going to pack on a little bit of weight, and I think he might just go straight to linebacker.
Interesting.
I'm indifferent on this one. I don't think he's that quick. He's like plays a lot of corner in his tape, so it's hard to tell like how he would do as a safety. He looks okay in one-on-one coverage, but I don't know the competition like either. St. Anthony's doesn't play the best of the best over in Long Island. I do think they have a game scheduled against New Jersey's team this year, so I'm intrigued to see how that's going to go. I'm not 100% sure if it's part of that battle on the Raritan thing or Rumble on the Raritan, so we'll have to double check on that one. But I mean, it's a decent get. It's hard to hype up like some of these guys because like you watch their tape and it's not bad. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, it's a solid get for Rutgers. You get in a school that they have familiarity with in St. Anthony's, where Scott Vallone went, and he has some pretty strong ties to the Long Island area. So you got to kind of trust him on this one.
Yeah, no, I would assume that they would have the down low on this kid more than any other school, given their connections. So I guess it's just a guy we'll have to see how he does his senior year and further develops as a player.
Yeah, kind of wait and see.
So I kind of wanted to touch on basketball recruiting to close today. So obviously we got a huge commitment last weekend from Gavin Griffiths, and it seems like that's just started to kind of build steam for Pike because we had a really high level visitor over the past weekend. That guy, or I think his name's Airious Bailey out of Georgia.
Yeah,
Airious guard.
Something like
Airious
that.
Bailey.
Yeah. They call him Ace, so just call him Ace Bailey.
Okay. Ace Bailey. So Ace Bailey visited this past weekend. What are you hearing on how that went?
I heard it went really well. I'm still trying to figure. I don't think it was an official visit though. I think it was just a normal like unofficial visit because we did talk to some people,
well. Yep.
some people close to him. It's intriguing because this is like a top ranked kid. I think he's what is he per?
He's 26th in his class. He's a power forward, 6'8", 200 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, it's an intriguing prospect because maybe you get him, maybe you get a Dylan Harper, and you pair those two together. It's like holy shit! Like that's like top 10 class right there almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's great that Pike's getting these guys on campus. It sounds like Baye Fall, who's number 13 in that class, is also or number 13 in 2023. Also wants to take a Rutgers official visit all of a sudden. It seems like everyone just wants to come check out Rutgers and see what's going on. So Pike, like I said, when Griff's committed, Pike and Rutgers were to talk at the EYBL tournament down in Louisville, Tennessee, whatever it was. Yeah, so I mean, the minute Griff's committed, everyone's like, oh, like everybody there, like they all talk, they all chatter, they're all looking around and they're like, did Rutgers just land a top whatever 28, 29, whatever it was, 28 kid? And it's like, yeah, holy shit, like what's Pike doing over there? Like, let's go check it out. So you'll probably see a couple more visitors. They also just offered a 2023 who's Ace Bailey's teammate and Jermichael, I forget his last name.
Yeah, I saw that come through on my Twitter feed.
Jermichael Davis. So I'm supposed to talk to him later today. I'll kind of figure out more. He does have an Auburn offer, a couple other lower school offers, but I mean, if you can land his teammate, do kind of like Pike's getting creative here. If you land his AAU teammate, then maybe you get Bailey and go from there. But you got Griff's on 2023. You're doing well in 2024 with Harper, with this new kid, Ace Bailey, with another new offer kid. So, and Jermichael Davis. I mean, hoops recruiting is like stock is just up right now. And I don't think there's a question about it.
I think it was just like they needed something to have the levy break where obviously we had Cliff a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, we haven't had like a go-to scorer committed to us. We thought maybe that Jaden Jones would be that guy. It turns out he wasn't.
Yeah.
So who knows how many kids that Gavin Griffiths is close with on the AAU circuit too. Like he might just be like the Pied Piper. Like he seems like a pretty like low key kind of guy, but that might just be who he is around the media, not around his friends, you know?
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, it's interesting too, because they're not going like this kid's from Georgia and came up to visit.
Yep.
Like that's takes a little bit of like a pull right there. Like they're not going like anywhere. Obviously the in-state kids, we talked about it off air. These in-state kids like literally still have zero interest in Rutgers, and hoops recruiting, like we said, is slimy, and probably get a little shit for this, but like it's extremely slimy in Jersey. Like it's 10 times worse in Jersey. I mean, look at DJ Wagner. His grandfather just got hired at Louisville. Like they hired someone's grandfather.
Yeah. And plus guys, some kids go to 4 different high schools in 4 different years, play on 4 different AAU teams in 4 years. So they're moving all around the country. And so they're not, if a kid's playing basketball in Georgia, he might have spent a year out in California, and you might have spent a year out in Arizona. So like moving isn't really as a big a problem for him. He's mainly looking for a fit or like to get the opportunity to play. So I don't think geography really hurts Rutgers in basketball recruiting as much as it does in football.
Yeah, I 100% agree with it. I know people are always like, why don't we land Jersey guys? Why don't we pursue them? And I'm like, dude, there's literally no shot. Like these kids, like, I don't know who's in charge of most of these recruitments, but like, if you're Rutgers, you're going to go hire what's his name's grandfather? I mean, maybe, yeah, he could, but Pike's not like that. But like Pike likes to play it by the book. You know, does everything as clean as you could be for a basketball program, and he's making it work. So you just gotta trust Pike here. I know most of the people, and I shouldn't say most, a couple people on the board still are in question with Pike, but it's like he's doing a hell of a job. Now that being said, their schedule is a different issue. That just yikes.
Yeah, more games are starting to leak out, and it seems like we're going to have the same problems with the net as we did last year, given how many quad 3 and 4 opponents we're going to have in the out of conference schedule. But that might be a topic for another day when it's finalized.
Yeah, I mean that they announced that multi-team event today, and that was Columbia, UMass Lowell, and Sacred Heart. 250. I think Columbia is like 351.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, not ideal. But there is still the rumors out there that there is going to be a big ACC matchup other than the ACC big tournament game. There's also a rumor that might be a Providence matchup, and Coach Cooley and Pico might be like working on something together. And be an interesting one. That'd
be a big time matchup. Yeah. I know that they obviously were very highly ranked at points last year. I think they did lose quite a bit of talent. I don't know how they reloaded, but I mean, Providence is a good name to get on your schedule for this year, and it might be a good opportunity to play a team that's taking a step back a bit. Yeah,
they're 32 right now in KenPom, or they finished 32 in KenPom. So I mean, and people I know a lot of people, including myself, like you look at Providence, and it's like from the Big East days, it's like, oh, you have the bottom feeder, yeah, that's what we want to play, and it's like, no, Cooley's got them like playing extremely well.
Yeah, they were outstanding last year. There's a few games that I just ended up watching. I think they had like a 4 or 5 overtime game against Villanova last year, if I remember correctly. Or maybe it was UConn. They were just like a really fun team to watch.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting. So if you can get them on the schedule, get this ACC school that's being rumored, maybe one other big game other than Seton Hall, and go from there. And it's like, all right, you're gonna have that battle at the Garden. It sounds like I forget what they called it. Grapple? No, something like that.
Grapple at the Garden was the wrestling match. Yeah.
Super Sunday, right? Is that what it was?
Maybe.
Forget what it was. Whatever. You get wrestling and then basketball. That the rumor is Michigan or Michigan State. I know they did the Michigan one already. Maybe they do it again. Who knows? But kind of just wait and see.
Yeah, Providence actually landed 5 transfers this class.
All right, so there goes that down here.
They got a kid from Louisville. They got a kid from UConn. They got a kid from Kentucky. They got a kid from South Carolina. They got a kid from LaSalle. They ended up landing Corey Floyd.
Oh, they did?
I don't know. Yeah, they did.
Jersey boy. It was that UConn one.
That was the UConn one, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Former teammate of our own Cliff Marie, too.
I mean,
didn't want to.
They might be able. That'd be a good game, I think. Still.
So just stick to the boards, because I'm sure there'll be more official announcements when those things become official. I did want to give one shout out before we go today. Geo Baker and Eric LeGrand, their whatever they call their collaborative, right? Yeah, the Knight Society. They're having a Twitter space tonight, and Geo's going to be on it. LeGrand's going to be on it. Ron Harper Jr. is going to be on it. Todd Frazier's going to be on it. TJ Hitchings is going to be on it, and apparently they have other surprise guests. So that's going to be at 9 o'clock tonight. And for anybody who hasn't used a Twitter space before, if you follow any of those guys at 9 o'clock when they join the Twitter space, it'll give you something at the top of your feed if you're on your phone, and it'll be lit up in purple, and it'll say like Night Society something if you want to join in. I know that the Scarlet Spotlight guys did a lot of those Twitter spaces during basketball season for recaps of games. So anybody who's done that, it's the same process. I don't know what it's going to entail, but I mean, obviously, if you're a Rutgers fan, a lot of Rutgers athletes are going to be on that tonight. So
yeah, Todd Frazier, Ron Harper, alum, Violetta Yas. I think she's a meteorologist or something, right?
Yep. I don't know. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, check that out. That's actually going to be kind of cool. Something to listen to tonight.
Yep.
But
so you got anything else for our listeners before we sign off?
Another camp coming up this weekend, I believe.
Official visitors this weekend too.
Yes, official visitors this weekend. So we'll have a bunch of recaps throughout the week. Darrell Robinson, O'Fury, Kinsler's coming back. He was just here last weekend for an unofficial. He's related somehow, cousins with Ian Kinsler did it again. Ian Kinsler's a baseball player. Jordan Kinsler, who's on a team as a preferred walk-on. Tommy Kinsler is a 2023 recruit who's like a 5.63 star, so pretty big name. And his younger cousin is Elijah Kinsler, who's a Bergen Catholic kid that's got like Syracuse, Tennessee, something. So I wouldn't be shocked if we saw might see 2 or 3 commitments this weekend. Actually, I'm looking at the list now. So
okay.
You haven't checked it out yet. It's on the board. It's all pinned at the top. Yeah, that's really all we got at the moment.
Awesome. Well, once again, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. Stick to the boards. There's going to be more news dropping hot and heavy coming up in camp season and official visit season. But for today, this has been another episode of the Night Report podcast, signing off.